Hey guys, this is Jamie and I'm back with another Java-based tutorial, and this time we're finally getting onto the basics of file handling. And up here, just in the class description, this program looks into the basics of reading from files and writing to files. This program uses the common BufferedReader and BufferedWriter to do so. In this single tutorial I'm going to be going over the BufferedReader, so I'm only going to be going on about reading from files, and in the next tutorial we will improve this program to also be able to write from files. Write to files, sorry. So yeah, BufferedReader is actually a class that's been made that can deal with reading files, same with BufferedWriter, and that's what we're going to be using. We don't need to do any really crazy code in order to read from files. We'll just implement something that can do it for us, which is obviously the best way to go. So as always, we're going to need another scanner because we're going to ask the user for a file. System.out.println. Oops, that's not how I do it. I don't know why I did that. System.in. Used to so many different things. Okay, so now we're going to import scanner. Off to a great start. And before we do anything else, I'm actually going to show you this. So on my desktop, I've actually got a folder called Records, which I made earlier. And in that folder, I've got files like Bob, John, and Marge. And these are the files that we're actually going to be reading from and potentially writing to in the next tutorial. So you can see the details here. It has Marge's details, name Marge Drool 36 in USA. And we've got Bob as well, Bob Bobson 56 in UK. Okay, so these are the files that we intend on reading in our program. We're going to get the user to specify one of them, and obviously we'll be doing exception handling as well, which means if the file doesn't exist, it'll be handled properly. So yeah, back to this and let's get started. So to get a BufferedReader, you would literally just type BufferedReader, then instantiate it set it like you would a variable. So we've called our BufferedReader BR. Comes up red because we haven't imported it yet. So Alt and Enter, and then add import for BufferedReader. And I'm just going to save it there. So yeah, that is, in fact, what we want to do as well is just set it to null. Because at the moment we don't know what the file that's going to be read is. We're going to ask the user for the file. So at the moment it's actually not going to be set to anything. It's just going to be set to null. Now, after that, what we want to do is actually create a variable called line. And since we're going to read the file line by line, we want a variable that stores each line as the program loops through and goes on. So we're just going to have a string called line in there as well. And after that, what we do is we want to ask the user for the file name. So what we're going to do is going to go system.out.println please enter the file name to be read. Okay? So that's pretty self-explanatory. Then what we want to do is we want to try the user's input, making sure it's making sure the file exists and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to try setting BR, which is our BufferedReader, equal to actually, yeah, I'll need to do something else in here. Sorry about that. I'm going to need to... No, I won't, will I? No, I won't, actually. I'll just set BR equal to... how do you normally do this? I just did this 10 seconds ago. Why can I not do this now? It's always when it comes to these tutorials I forget what I'm doing. Okay, so BR equals... Yeah, there we go. New BufferedReader new file reader brackets c dot. Now this path will be different for you guys unless you've done it on your desktop. In fact, no, the path will be different for you guys. I just know the path of mine is c dot dot slash users Jamie Simpson desktop records. Okay, so that's the path that I'm going to input in here. So I'm going to put c colon slash slash, and it's got to be 2 slashes because class is 1 slash is something else in Java and it doesn't like it. So it's got to be 2 slashes for each separation of documents. So C users Jamie Simpson / desktop / records, and this is where the user input comes in. We're going to append onto the end of that whatever the user has specified, and to do that we're only going to do scanner dot next as always, and it's not next in this time, it's just next because it's a string that's being input, and that's because I've missed a slash there. So there we go. The only error that's coming up here is file reader because we haven't imported it yet. So if I add an import for Java IO file reader, it'll then come up with unreported exception, file not found exception, and as you know, tries are always followed by catch. So I'm just going to hit Alt Enter and go add catch clause. And that does it for me. It basically comes up with file not found exception. I'm just going to change that to fnfex to know it's a file not found exception, and I'm also going to change this to system.out.println fnfex.getMessage, and the file was not found. Okay, so you should be familiar with that from the last tutorial. It's just going, okay, create a new instance of BufferedReader. That's the directory that the file's in, and that is the name of the file, and the name of the file is whatever the user's input, obviously. And if they've input nothing, then it's just going to continue as it would, but that doesn't matter. But also, there's one thing we need to do in here, and this is just going to make sure that if the file's not found, the next set of code does not continue. And all we want to do here is system.exit. Now, before, when we did this in a finally, but finally literally will exit the finally statement will literally execute no matter what we do. And we don't want that, because down here we're going to have our code that reads and displays the line. So if the program exits up here, it's never going to reach our code down here. So that's why we've got to do it. That's why we've got to exit the system only if the file is not found. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So yeah, down here is where we start actually reading the file. And to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to do a while loop. Now also, this will be in a try-catch, but I'm kind of cheating. I'm using NetBeans to my advantage, and I'll do the try-catch around it once I've actually finished the while loop. And to loop through here, all we need to do is type while line equals br, and in the buffered reader it has a method called readLine, and that'll read the line automatically. So what we do is br.readLine, and then we put not equal to null, because if the line's null, then that means that the file is at the end of the file and there's nothing more to be read. So while it's not equal to null, we'll set this variable up here to the value of the line in the file, and then we want to do something with it. And what we're actually going to do is system.out.println line on the screen. Okay? Hopefully you should understand that. We've been through while loops last time, and this is the only slight bit that's new. We're just saying line is equal to that as long as there is a line to be read. As long as there's still text in that file, we're going to keep looping through and printing it out. Okay? It says incompatible types boolean cannot be converted to string. Okay, and why can't it? Not sure what that means. Wait a minute. I don't know what that is. It's because I'm supposed to put two brackets around this. I'm supposed to do this separately. I'm supposed to go like that. Oh, wait, is that? Yes, it is that. Okay, and this is what I meant by cheating. If I hit Alt Enter now, and I go down here and I go to surround statement with try catch, again it does it automatically for me. And that is so much simpler than me just typing all this out. I'm still going to type out system.out.println ex. Sorry, I'll actually change that. It's an IO exception, so I'll type IOEX, and then go IOEX.getMessage, and also error reading file. Okay, and once we've done this, we're going to end this one with a finally, and that's just going to do system.exit 0. There we go. Okay, so just to loop through this program again before we actually, I always leave it up. Yeah, so just loop through this quickly. We've used scanner again. We've created a buffered reader. and set it to null initially because we don't know what the file was called, and we've also got this variable called line. We've then asked the user to enter the name of the file to be read. Okay? So in this point in here, the user is going to enter a file name. What it's going to do is it's going to try and read that file. It's basically saying the buffered reader is equal to a new instance of the file reader, and this is the file that they're expecting. Okay? If the file is not found, it catches the file not found exception and outputs a message. At this point, the system then exits, because if it exits, if it doesn't exit here, it's still going to try this next set of code. And also, if we put it in a finally, it's also going to exit here no matter what and never get to this code. And then we come down to here where we actually handle the reading lines. So I'm just going to comment in here actually. This is where we read lines. Okay? I haven't been doing much comments in code because I haven't really felt the need to. When I actually get around to uploading these files for you guys to see, I'll make sure it's all properly commented and documented and everything. But again, when we get on to actual proper object classes, I will be doing massive Java docs along with my methods and everything like that. So that's something to look forward to, or not look forward to. Perfect explanations of what things work as and everything. But yeah, okay. So yeah, it comes down here, it reads the line, providing there is a line in the file to be read, and then it prints it onto the screen. If there's an error reading the file, any like IO exception, which is just an input-output exception, so if there's anything to do with reading that line in, it'll print out the message and say error reading file, and then it'll exit. So if I just go ahead and run this, it says please enter a file name to be read. So we know our file names are Bob, John, and Marge. Okay? Bring back NetBeans. So I'm going to type in Bob. And it says here, the system cannot find the file specified, the file was not found. The reason for that is not my bad coding, is the fact that I missed out the .text extension. It doesn't automatically append the .text extension. Oh, no it's not. Lovely. Ah, I know what it is. Oops. Wonder if that'll fix it actually. I wonder if that'll fix it. Yeah, okay. And now I'll run it again. Bob.text. There we go. Yeah, so it was partly that, and it's also partly because I missed 2 slashes at the end of there. So there we go. It says here Bob, name Bob, Bobson, age 56, location UK. And just to run it again, I will type in Marge.text, and it says Marge Drool 36 USA. And now I'll type in something that doesn't exist, so I'll type in cheese. And it comes up with the system cannot find the file specified, the file was not found. Cool. And that's the exception here, and the system's also exited successfully. So yeah, that's all to do with BufferedReader. I can get rid of these loggers now actually, remove all these unused imports. So this is basically just us look to the start of file handling, so text files, and reading them. Next one's going to be writing to them. But this is going on for 50 minutes, so I won't actually put it in this tutorial. Hope this has helped a bit. It should. It's probably the best way of doing it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Hope you found it useful. If you need any help with anything, comment below. I will upload this file as well at some point. Probably after the next tutorial actually, because then it'll be fully completed. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.